Morning, everybody. So I'm going to talk to you about my startup, Mo8, strengthening communities through fitness. You'll understand as we go on, but my company started when I was in the gym, and it was nice outside. I didn't really like being in the gym, and I was trying to get a workout in, but not enjoying myself. I think that some of you may have felt that before. So came up with, or I saw something different. This guy had brought a kettlebell to the park, and he was really enjoying his workout. He had a pull-up bar there. It was outside. It was 65 degrees. It was beautiful. And I was like, well, why can't this experience happen all the time, everywhere? So I'm going to talk a little bit about the city challenges first before I go into my solution. So not only do the lifters have a problem with not wanting to be in the gym, parks in the city also have some challenges that my company can help solve. So in the city of St. Louis, we have 108 parks and recreation facilities in the city alone. That doesn't include the county, but we still have a 61% adult obesity rate. You can attribute this to maybe people aren't going to the parks because we have so many different types of people here, students, elderly, families, and you have to have a unique solution that helps service all of these different groups. And then of course there's the recreation funding challenges. How do you get more people to parks with an ever diminishing budget and create new revenue streams to bring money back into the city? Which is where my company lies at the center of this opportunity to improve health, increase engagement, and increase city funding while providing a great service to the end customer. So this is the solution. You can think of it as Lime Bike for dumbbells. Would be weight rental in parks, so you can work out outside. Very similar, you scan, you check it out, you check it back in, and then you don't have to have a gym membership. It's all outside, on demand, really easy to use. So a couple models. This is the Mo8 heavyweight. This is your 5 to 50 pound rack. You just go up, scan each dumbbell, pair unlocks individually. You're able to work out, check them back in. Really easy solution. Then we have our walking weight set. These are your 1 to 10 pound weights that you can take on the trail, increase your cardiovascular output. You can burn up to 30% more calories per hour if you're walking with weights. This is better for the intermediate lifter, or even when we were in Colombia, we found that elderly folks really like this they were saying, oh, I can have my purple 8-pound weights on the trail. I had them in the rec. They really liked that idea. I'll talk more about that in a second. Just a simple, what it could look like on the trails here, outside, easy to use. One thing I haven't talked about yet is the mobile app. Mobile app allows you to check in and check out of the weights, but it also suggests workouts per the facility. Let's say there's a pull-up bar there, there's some of the dip racks there, there's some parks around that have some of that architecture. That will be customized per the site. So when you're at the site using our weights, you'll be able to get a full stack workout in that we suggest, as well as have some fitness challenges. You've checked in at these locations, you are doing great this month, things like that to keep people engaged in lifting. And then to talk a little bit about the competition, let's talk about city gyms. On average in the United States, people are spending up to $58 a month. On average, they're spending $58 a month for a gym membership before annual fees, memberships, very expensive. And then, like I said earlier, you're going, let's say you leave your office, you really want to go back into another office to go work out, or enjoy the outside, especially when it's beautiful like today. There's no way I'm going to go to a gym today. Pricing, this is our price point. You can rent for $2 an hour. That allows you to lift with all the weights that we have at the rack. Monthly membership for $15, or you could be an annual member for only $60 per year. So that's the better, cheaper than any other Planet Fitness, whatever you want to talk about. That would be $60, and you can work out at any of the sites that we have going on in 2019. A little bit about my team. I'm the founder CEO. I am a web developer, IT operations manager, currently gainfully employed by Anheuser-Busch, who also sponsors this cafe. Formerly a Zoo football player, so fitness is well in my background. Aaron Lee, he's a business operations analyst. He has an MBA from University at an undergrad. And then Sarah who is our lead engineer. She's working on the design. She has experience from Craftsman Trailer, where she did production runs for custom trailers, and she also plays club rugby at Mizzou right now. So all fitness guys and gals. So we went out to Columbia, one of the cities that we're talking to about purchasing in 2019, talked to 100 people, 90% of them were in support, 10% were neutral, no one was negative. People were ready to give their emails, they were really excited about bringing a new solution to the city. Even if they weren't going to use it themselves, they still wanted it there for the access. Sample city investment for $40,000 would get one of our heavyweight sets, 2 of our walking weight sets, and then our mobile application, of course, comes with that to make everything work. Activation period, 2 weeks to implement. We just bolt it to the ground, ready to go. Activation period is then we have group trainings, reps on site, people signed up, and then sustainability, new workouts always being added, weight refreshers, and then new equipment coming in the following years. Sample city revenue, this is what's exciting with the parks. So Mo8 keeps 70%, we give 30% back to the city. That's because users can use any of our sets in the country. But a sample with 1,200 users, you could be generating $22,000 in annual revenue. In the city of St. Louis, you know, in 360,000 people, you can really scale this for a big opportunity for the city to increase their revenue stream through our solution as well. In closing, back up. It's very easy to see this in a park and have people use it. One thing that I'm asking for today, and what I will ask of you is, I'm looking for connections now. We're trying to plan into 2019. Currently, we're talking to 5 cities in the state. We're going to be looking outside the state soon, but we're just really trying to process, map, and build the pipeline on who would want to purchase this before we go into our production run. So any connections, sponsorship opportunities, all those different things, that's what I'm here to talk about today. And then coming back to the core, this is to promote fitness, health, and wellness. It's something that I care about, and it's the gym that I want to use in the future, which is why I have the company. So I'll open it up for questions now.
Right? Yep.
Good to go.
All right. Please wait for the microphone. She had her hand up first. You got. Oh, wait. I just said wait for the microphone.
I have such a loud talker. It's really interesting. Thanks for presenting. I'm wondering more about sort of how it actually works. I'm thinking all this negative, so I don't mean to sound negative, but how, if somebody could use all the weights for the $2 an hour, do you not have them just leave them all over the place, or lose them, or take them?
So design is not shown up here in its entirety because don't want it completely stolen. Each weight is unlocked and locked in individually, and then RFID readers have it tied to your account. So you unlock the weights, they're now on your profile, and if you don't check them back in, you'd be charged for them.
Gotcha.
So that's how that rack works itself.
Yeah, I love it. I love everything about it. I'm just curious about the model. Right now the city has to pay for it, and then you do like a rev split. Have you looked at the model of just placing it in the city and then just doing the memberships and making money off of the hourly and the?
Yes. So cost per rack is not cheap investment on our end, which is why we're paying for them. There is a technology cost that is a little expensive. The advantage of selling to the city from our company is now the city is invested in us. We are invested in the city to gain user growth. In the future, once I have enough capital, we'll just drop them in cities. Might be a little different, but on that model, this is I didn't really mention this before, but this is applicable to grant funding. So trying to get into the city, you can then apply for a grant. This is handicap accessible. It's also promoting health and wellness. There's a lot of funding opportunities that we can help the city get that money so that it's not coming out of the city's pocket as well. And it does seem like an expensive investment. We do have leasing plans available. So if you want to be spending only $5,000 a year, you can do that as well.
I'm just thinking through from like the investor standpoint. If I'm thinking about helping you like scale many different cities, it would be better to basically drop them in cities and have that risk on the company side instead of the city, where all they have to do is say yes. Because like that's of course is going to take enough time for them to even say yes if it's free. You know, yeah. So that's
it is definitely something that I'm considering a potential for the future, but want to take advantage of the opportunity of making the first sale.
Yeah.
It's a quicker path to revenue.
Have you built a working prototype?
Not yet. We have the designs, but prototype will come 2019, not selling anything until at least Q2 next year. So I could use help if anyone wants to offer assistance too.
Tell me about another layer of innovation beyond this. So it's a rack of weights. What's the next level of innovation that's going to make it more sticky to consumers?
Yeah, so right now we're not targeting, like the Olympic lifter, trying to pull that person away from the gym. We're trying to pull people who are casual runners, bikers that might not have a gym membership because they don't want it, and then they're going to add that to get the next market of the Olympic lifter, the heavier lifter. Then we're talking about weight racks with a squat bar that you can check in, check out, so that you have all your Olympic lifting equipment. And that's one end. So Olympic lifting will be where we're going next, and then to address the CrossFit market, also looking at the opportunity for outdoor rowing machines, kettlebells, and then more just accessory equipment. So it's not just the weights, it's also you have all the things that you want to use with the weights.
So back to the investment question for the Parks and Recreation departments. I'm struggling a little bit with how they would put this into their budget and cost justify it from a return on investment standpoint. When they have equipment that they install with like the isometric stuff, that's really low cost. I mean, it's pipes that are mounted in the ground that people can do things with, but $40,000. I'm just wondering in their budget how this fits in, and then how do you cost justify that investment for them?
So and I've had a few discussions with the cities. I actually talked to Jefferson Barracks yesterday, and then I talked to the city of Columbia who's interested in purchasing. You mentioned the pipe machines, they're not low cost. They're up to $1,000 a piece, and then that's before install as well. So then you can easily be looking at a playground with that equipment at $100K plus. We're not out of the price range for these city investments. And then to think about again, there's no ROI on that for the city to do that for the community. There's no revenue stream coming back in. Cities make money on your soccer leagues, your equipment rental. There's nothing that a playground then generates money for the city.
So you do a revenue share with them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
They get 30% of all within their zip code.
Sorry, okay, thanks.
This sounds like a logical extension of the bike rental or the scooter rental. Have you thought about talking to Lime or OFO or?
I don't want to talk to them because the only thing that keeps this competitive is design and then scaling before everyone else. So Lime won the market because they raised $70 million in 3 months because the model was already proven in China. This does not have a proven model before, so it's not like I can go out and raise $70 million on something that no one's bought, no one's used. That's what I'm getting some data on now. The race to the top for the bike share companies is strictly funding. Lime raised $360 million like 3 months ago to put them at $1 billion valuation. That's how they're beating Bird in the majority of the markets. That's probably, if this takes off, how I would have to scale as well to get the city partnerships, get exclusivity rights, and then stay in the cities.
I was thinking about actually like having them buy your company.
I would love them to buy it
Yeah.
in the future, but I want to get it to a point where they can't just, take one of their $1 million and then be like, all right, now we don't even need you.
That one slide you had that had the walking weights, I think one great market would possibly be retirement communities in Florida, because they're not sedentary, they're usually very active retirement communities. And most importantly, it's a nice controlled area to test your product and most importantly, they have money. So I think we probably burn lots of cash to stand out from another retirement community that's trying to attract lots of high dollar buyers.
That is a great idea. It's actually something that I've talked about with the city of Iowa City. So there's a big retirement community that's moving back into Iowa City. I'm talking with their parks department this upcoming week. One of the things they mentioned, well, I had not thought about the Florida market, where you have your 65 plus communities. Awesome place to go next. My only concern out the gate would probably be adaptivity to technology, but
Well, these a lot of the, we read about the crazy ones, they're in their 50s and 60s, so they're still very active. And the other thing is, I would go south because you can work year-round.
of course, if I was there, that's where I would be. It's just a little more convenient to come to things like this here. I got stretched pretty thin. I had a lot more responses than I was expecting on my email reach outs last week.
Okay, we have more questions. I did have, just popped in my head, more of a comment than a question, but it seems to me, sponsorships is something, you and I talked briefly about, but it seems like that, this thing is rife for sponsorships. And that seems to be one way you could also help sell to the parks was get sponsors on board, but all of a sudden the cost is $20,000 to the park rather than $40,000. It seems like that's an easy way to kind of soften the initial blow to a lot of their budgets.
Really appreciate you bringing that up. I guess I talked about the grant funding. I didn't talk about the sponsorship opportunities. So there is another company called National Fitness Campaign. They do free weights. They don't do weights. They just do pull-up bars, and they help build a pad in your community to similar to what you already see with pull-up bars and dip racks. They help bring that into your community. Their model is largely based on advertising, and they make like Ford, or they don't make Ford or the local hospital or someone who's investing back in the community, and they brand everything. That also opportunity for this. These are designs that can be wrapped in logos, etc. Maybe the Cardinals want to sponsor in a local developing community. That would be a great partner.
Have you considered any other uses for the technology besides just public park placement? Have you expanded the idea of the technology?
So as far as places I want to be, trying to think, so places I want to be, more than just parks, I also want to be in like just on the street corner, places like that, where it's not necessarily a park, but it's a place that could use a workout facility. As far as other uses of the locking mechanisms and the check-in and check-out solution, not something that I considered yet, but good thought prompt. I'll follow up with you after this, maybe to get some ideas.
So I'm gonna bring it from another side. I think that you actually should get very, very singular focus. Like really create a buyer's persona. Like focus on maybe just that maybe not have this many options of like even the different types of weights. Lower your production costs. And if you can just scale them super fast, because like it's your sales time that's gonna like kill you, right? Like you said earlier about OFO and all the other, they can just like drop them in cities while you're still trying to work on 1, 2, 3 cities, right? Like, but if you just drop down and make an MVP of like a single rack of like maybe 2 or 3 options, and just drop them. You already have the technology of the RFID stuff, like that's fine. Just drop them in different cities, and then you scale fast.
I do like that idea. I haven't thought about scaling back the model, but you could do that. You could go, let's say 1 to 35 pounds, keep it extremely low cost, just drop them in, and then get some user data really quickly. Yep. So I like that. Thank you.
You might do a beta test at a hospital or rehab center, and so if people don't use smartphones with an app, maybe they've got a bracelet that's coordinated with the app, and all they have to do is swipe their wrist and be able to use the free weights. That way you've got, a health center would be willing to partner with you because it's in their best interest to get people to actually comply to workouts and things like that. So that, also I was thinking people with money, golf courses.
Ooh.
golf courses, you do free weights with arms, your swing improves, and there's all kinds of stuff there.
I've not thought about that either. The healthcare. I am doing a beta test at Jefferson Barracks. They gave me permission to drop a weight set in there and leave the weights. I'm just gonna have like a text to join on it and say if you'd like to see these here more often, this is how you can support us. I fully expect those to get stolen, but it's a way to get data, and that's more important to me right now. The test in Columbia, where I was actually out there for the 2 days, was fantastic. People were really, really excited about it.
So one suggestion perhaps is, as you talk to the municipalities, think about would they be willing to give an exclusive on this to your company. I think that would be a good protective measure.
Yeah, and I think that if I go with the free model that he just described, sorry I didn't catch your name, but if you go with that model and then you can guarantee exclusivity rights, it's another way to scale, which is no one else can come in and have a weight share solution here. I'm the only one that can for the next 2 years, but I'm gonna do it for free. And then I believe I could probably get a raise on that. It's not expensive for me, but it is more than I have, so I will have to raise money soon.
It's all about the traffic. I get it. And then just a question follow on to the sponsorship suggestion would be, I think, do you expect this something you can just drop and people you build and they will come, or are you going to need to market this, have events at the locations and things like that? Fitness, Muscle Beach style events.
I think it's going to be a mix because the people that are comfortable with the gym, comfortable with free weights, I think they're going to very easily see it, want it, do it. But when I've been talking to more of the non-gym goer demographic, they really want the classes there. They really want to have someone train them, at least get them onboarded. So I think probably, if I had to guess, there'd be 30% that just pick it up and use it, and then 70% that you'd really have to incentivize. Model that I have now, yes, I make money on the users, but also make money on the sale. Trying to do a little bit of both so that I can scale quick. I had another comment on that. It'll come to me, but.
Could I follow up with a couple of your points? You spoke about people who don't lift weights, who don't know about weights. Could you speak about how, because someone hurts themselves and you don't provide any sort of training, like all of a sudden someone sues you, well, you gave me these weights and you let me go. So would you have some sort of, in the app, say, hey, if you want to learn how to do, just a simple bench press, this and that, and follow up with your notion of kind of doing specific workouts to the specific locations?
Yeah, so on the app, part of the don't sue me policy when you register is if you're checking these out, you're using them at your own risk, yada, yada, yada. But as far as training goes, that is going to be built into the app so that you have suggested workouts at your location. This is, people like, I spoke about this earlier, is some people like to be told what to do, and then you can build that custom per location. If there's already equipment there, pull-up bars, you should be using that as well as the weights as a supplement. And that'll all be suggested. That's easy to curate in the app so that the users are getting a good experience. They know what they're doing, how to do it, and what's available to them, how they're progressing, and then they can track it. So that's a good component of this too. And I'm going to extend that to speak more about why the cities want this and why health organizations want solutions like this is there's a lot of community challenges when you get every community has a community health assessment needs. A lot of them come back to obesity, diabetes, and then how as that is higher in the community, that equates to higher ER visits. So communities are challenged, parks and recreation is challenged with finding different ways to make their community more healthy. Some of the ways that it's done now is incentivizing certain people to go to the recreational facilities, the indoor facilities. The city of Columbia brought up the point with this is they want this branded as part of their city rec facility, the ARC. So that all these have the ARC on them, because they want people coming to their equipment saying, look, this is what Parks and Recreation is doing for you, not Wilson's Planet Fitness. So that's one thing. And people, like just tying it back to the beginning, communities have this on their agenda to invest in the health of their community so that they lower all the healthcare costs overall. That's usually performed by a local hospital or organization.
All right, I'll take the last question then. So what can the community do for you?
Yeah. Really, the connections, if you have any local governments that would be willing to talk, I appreciate all of the thoughts today. It gives me some more ideas on how to scale quickly. But sponsors, I think I'm a little early for investors, so that I'm not quite looking for that. But connections to local governments, agencies, and then back to manufacturing and production, that will be coming next year. So plastic is a big component of this. If anyone knows any custom plastic manufacturers, I know that's a long shot, but these connections is what I'm looking for today, not necessarily dollars or anything like that.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.